All right, so I'm going to go into the product right now. So I'm going to show you as much as I can. Okay, so this will be delivered over a browser, so there is no need to install on the student computer anything at all. The only installation that needs to be done is on the school or district server and on the teacher computer if the teacher will be accessing the management system. So I will click on SMI, and this is my login screen, and I'm going to log in. Let me see. I'm going to log in as a student that has not taken any test. Actually, one thing that I forgot to say is that SMI is smart enough to use previous test results for the student to start the second test of the student. So if I have a quantile level of 500, it's going to use that the second time I take a test, it's going to use that as a starting point. It's more efficient because that's probably where my ability is, maybe a little bit higher. So it's not going to start me at a 200 quantile and then take a little bit of time to figure out where I am. Also, the teacher on the first test can decide if the student is on grade level, below grade level, advanced, and set that as a student setting so that it will be easier for the student to get to the right level faster. Okay, let me log in.
Now the test will measure how fast you can answer math facts. First, practice typing. Type the number fast and click Next.
The SMI test is broken into 3 parts. The first part is a math fact screener. It is not an assessment for facts because that's done very in detail by fast math. This is just a presentation of 10 addition and 10 multiplication facts, very carefully selected to see if there could be a problem with the student. And if the student does not pass this screener, we recommend that the teacher takes a closer look or perhaps works with the student for fact automaticity. Students on grade 4 and higher will get the 10 addition and 10 multiplication facts. Younger students, grade 3 and lower, will get only the addition facts. Okay? But first, as the instructions say here, we just want the kids to practice typing a few numbers just to get familiar with the keyboard and answering fast, like we do in fast math. And like in fast math, the facts that are presented to the student are timed. So the student must answer the facts correctly and on time to consider them fluent. So this is what we're going to do now.
Type the answer and click Next.
Okay, and when I'm ready, I'll start that. And I'm going to answer the addition facts correctly, and then I'm going to answer the multiplication facts incorrectly. Okay, so the results for the fact screener will be provided to the teacher separately for addition and multiplication. And each of the facts is on the screen for 10 seconds, and then it goes away, is considered incorrect, and the next fact is showing for the student. And in order to pass each part of the screener, I have to answer 8 out of 10 correctly. So I'm just going quickly through this.
Now you will answer some math questions. You can use a calculator on some questions. To practice, click the calculator button. You can use a reference sheet on some questions. It includes useful formulas. Click the reference button to take a look.
Okay, this is the second part of the test. So now we're gonna get 3 practice questions. These are extremely easy questions, the same questions for every student on every grade. And the purpose of these questions is to make sure that the student knows how to go about answering the questions on SMI, going to the next question, understanding the format. We have the calculator here. that the student can use in different problems. We have two types of calculators depending on the difficulty of the item of the question. We have this 4-function calculator. We have a scientific calculator. We have a reference sheet that has some formulas. We have two different sheets, one that is for easier questions and one that is for more advanced questions. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next.
You can use a reference sheet,
screen.
read the question and the answer choices. Then click the correct answer. When you are ready, click Next to go on. Start with a few practice questions. They will not count for your test score.
Okay, so all the questions are multiple choice with 4 foils. Okay, so this is the first question. Pretty simple. This is the second question. And this is the third question. When I'm done with the practice test,
You are done with the practice questions. From now on, your answers will count for your test score.
this is the actual SMI test. This is the scored part of the test, and this is where I'm going to get 25 to 30 questions depending on how fast I answer the questions. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole test because we're going to be here for a while. I'm going to go through a few questions, and let's just see if I can answer them incorrectly and see if they're going to get easier, and then correctly see if they're going to get hard, and then I'll go into the teacher management system. Okay, what is 1/4 of 8? Let's just answer this like that. Go to the next question. Which decimal is greater than 67 hundredths? Let's just answer this incorrectly too. So they get a little bit simpler right away. Let's just answer this correctly. Oh, I don't want to read this, so let's just say randomly. Actually, I started doing some testing with kids here, and there are quite a few of word problems. I don't remember the % of word problems, but there are quite a few. And it was just incredible that they spent time reading them, trying to understand, trying to solve the problem, asking questions. It was just incredible. I personally find them relatively boring. But okay, so let's just see here. What is 4,501 rounded to the nearest thousand? Let's just answer this correctly. Which number is point T? I cannot delete it from here. Let's just do randomly, incorrectly. Okay. So the student, I'm going to stop here. The student will get about 30 questions, depending on how fast they answer. And then at the end, they will get a little screen that says, your test is done, your score is, and then it's going to give a number. Okay. That's a teacher choice. The teacher can decide not to display the score for the student. Okay. And the students that do really bad, and they get a 0 or even negative, because you can get a negative number, negative quantile. We don't display the score, we just display EM, which means emerging mathematician. So the student doesn't get a very low score.